Welcome back to the Sports Source. This segment brought to you by English Mountain Spring Water. You see it on the desk every week. It's the world's best tasting water, and you can have it delivered right to your home or to your office. And you pick the sizes, you pick when it's delivered, how it's delivered. If you don't want somebody bringing it into your home, you just tell them, they leave it right on your doorstep, and you do that. It's really terrific, and once you've tried it, you'll be amazed by it. You won't go back. English Mountain H2O, fresh from a spring right in Dandridge. And this thing's been there for years and years and years. And boy, they do all kinds of testing on it, make sure it's perfectly pure, and it always is. English Mountain Spring Water. Okay, Jeremy Pruitt went from the hot seat after the Georgia State and BYU losses last year to the hero after the comeback win against Indiana, which wrapped up a 6-game win streak. It's that, things can turn that quickly. In a normal year, he was probably looking at 8-4 this year. You'd think that the 3 non-conference were gimmies. Georgia State was supposed to be, but you'd think those were gimmies. And you would think that Oklahoma would probably be a loss. But it's not a normal year. So is this a good thing or a bad thing for a young coach like Jeremy Pruitt and his record and the view of his career long term? You give up 3 wins that pad that record. At the same time, you got some built-in excuses here. If you play a game without your entire offensive line due to COVID, you can defend that. It's so weird with travel and games being scheduled. You've got the mulligan built in possibly.
Yeah.
Is this good or bad for Jeremy Pruitt specifically long term?
I think it's going to be good because we talked about this earlier. One of the key things I think to getting through this situation is relationship with players. And I don't know that there are many coaches in the SEC that I think have a better relationship with players than Jeremy Pruitt. He also has a veteran team coming back in many respects. Now, who knows who's going to catch the virus? We don't know all that stuff. But just on paper, with what you're looking at, I think he's got a chance to have a pretty good year, 6-4, potentially maybe even better. But I think because of his relationship, I think he'll get the most out of the players. I'm going to say this is a good thing for Jeremy Pruitt.
Yeah, I mean, he's got the program going in the right direction, right? I mean, they paid the price and they've won the recruiting battles. The worst thing to me would be if they just say no football, in 2020. That's what would be really bad because you've got all this momentum going. You're going to be better. Your program's in better place right now than some of the teams you're going to be playing. Well, that hadn't always been the case recently. We hadn't been able to say that. So I think the big picture right now, I think it's a good thing as long as you can play. And let's just keep this thing going, moving forward, and you're going to be better down the road.
Well, let me flip it on you. Well, I think it could be a good thing even if you don't play. Now, a good thing for him. I want you to play, obviously. What I'm saying is, if they don't play, you're not going to see what was supposed to be another step in the rebuild. This was, you're not there yet. You're getting closer. I think fans would have, August, the expectations, you'd have started to hear 10 wins this year. Expectations, I think, were going to get too high. Next year is the year when I think everybody thought you could contend for the East. And if you don't play this year, you avoid those potential pitfalls. Instead, the next time anybody sees you, you'll be riding that 6-game win streak for a year and a half now. But the next time anybody sees you, you will have added what currently on paper, if they have a signing class, will be a top 10 class. So you'll be an even stronger team the next time you take the field. I think you could make a case that this could work out for Jeremy Pruitt either way, if they play or don't play.
But I still think it's much better with all the work and everything that's gone into it.
Well, sure, everybody wants to play.
That's how I look at it. I mean, that the worst thing would be for this thing just to get worse than it is.
But I'm not talking about. I'm not talking about a worst thing for the sport. Obviously, we want football.
You're talking about
for Jeremy Pruitt's career trajectory and how people view him. Not playing this year isn't going to hurt him. I'll give you the example. Will Muschamp, however, people are mad at him over there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're just going to be sitting on rage for another 12 months if they don't play. Whereas Mr. 6 in a row, if they had stopped football after the Georgia State and BYU games last year, Jeremy Pruitt, the mood around here wouldn't be all positivity. So I think being where he is a better spot than some loser if everything stops.
Well, and also the buyout for Muschamp might go down. If they don't play for it, I don't know what the contract reads, but yeah. I think that Tennessee and Pruitt will do well this year. I think there are a lot of factors that suggest that. Of course, a lot of it has to do with how good your quarterback play is going to be. But I do think this can be a good season for Tennessee.
The relationship thing is interesting because, after the Georgia State game last year, I asked, do these players like Jeremy Pruitt? Because they had a bowl chance the year before. They didn't show up against Missouri, didn't show up against Vanderbilt, laid 2 eggs, and then laid a 3rd egg against Georgia State. I don't think it was a bizarre question to say, do they like him? But boy, since then, that 6-game win streak makes everybody fall in love. So the relationships aren't going in his favor right now. I do think they are looking at a positive football season. Let's hope they play it. And let's hope everybody's just willing to take what comes. Chuck Cavaleris, thanks for joining us. Jimmy Himes, good to have you back. And thank you for joining us. Thanks to all of our sponsors who keep this thing rolling week in, week out. This will be our 18th football season coming up. We hope you'll join us. See you next Sunday right back here on The Sports Source.